Okay, been doing a lot of changes lately, doing a lot of experiments. This is another one. Um, Couple things going on right here. First of all, this little entryway, notice I don't have a fuzz or an overdrive in here because I'm going through the stack compression preamp to the volume pedal into the bass breaker 45 reactive load box into the nano cortex. And in the nano cortex, I have set up, let me turn off some stuff here before we make some noise. Sorry, I should have muted the mic for that, but my only point is that I added an overdrive in at the nano cortex. Again, new experiment. So the other part of the experiment is the pedal 76 I'm putting after that. I'm going to use the pedal 76 more as a piece of outboard gear here now. I still have had the noise come in. It is a piece of analog gear. It's not behaving much differently than a deluxe memory man, to be honest. So I'm just going to see if I can live with it in its given state. I did take the battery back out, so there's another experiment. I had convinced myself it was the lack of battery that was causing the noise. Now I'm not so sure. So in any case, going into pedal 76, then down to the trio, into the Zoya. HX effects right now, at least temporarily until the new pedal comes. I've decided the Halo stays. I had it off there. I was going to sell it, and it just does something really, really great. And then, of course, the Night Sky into the SSL6, into the 88M, into the OBS software. So I'm just going to do a jam here. Let's see what happens. All right, so I think that illustrates. I'll put these headphones on so the speakers don't bleed. I think that illustrates why I don't typically put compression further down the chain. Now, this is obviously atypical because I'm going to the floor, to the amp, back in through the IR then. That's not a typical setup either, but it's not much different than maybe putting it after your drives or gain, whatever you're using, because you can hear it pumping. In a live setting, I don't think that would be noticeable. It'd almost be like turning this auto pan on or phase or something. Can you hear that kind of pulsing? I mean, it's similar to that. It's in a studio setting, there's so much clarity and headroom that it's hard to avoid that stuff. This thing sounds great in this position, and I will listen back to this recording, obviously, but in that instance, it's noisy and it's still picking up interference. I think it has something to do with the MacBook and the iPhone, or just having wireless stuff. Because when I was using the 76 upstairs, I wasn't getting these issues. So it could be the dimmers on these lights in the room. Could be there's more interference in this part of the house. I don't know, but it ain't working. I did try the AirChild right here for a little bit. AirChild sounds good, but again, just at this, to put compression at this point in the signal chain, it just raises the noise floor too much. You hear people talk about, oh, it was meant to be used in the studio. Well, the Stratocaster was meant to be a country and western instrument. I mean, doesn't really to be dogmatic about the way we do this would be ridiculous. In this setting, and this is just my setting I'm speaking about, compression just makes more sense before the gain. If you want to gain that kind of control over the dynamic range and that dynamic kind of feel it can give whatever you're playing. Because again, you still have to kind of play to compression as well, just as you would play to an overdrive or any effect. Ultimately, let's hope you're not letting them do the work. Let's hope you're setting these things up so they can do what you want them to do, rather than just walking around with a fancy coat on. But in any case, there you go. I think I've come to my conclusion. Having any compression at this point gives you what you want, but you also have to do it at a cost with that line, that noise floor increase. So there you go. Another experiment completed. Now this stuff over here, the HX effects, for the first time I'm using in series, but the two delays I have on, or I did for this recording, are in parallel. So that's the other thing I want to listen for, is see how these two delays I'm using sound in parallel going into the halo, then the night sky. So a couple things for me to listen to.